Teenage Engineering in their EP series looks like I can sync them up easily like the pocket operators. It's just simple using a stereo aux cable going out of the sync of the KO into the in sync of the MIDI Evil. And it was actually pretty simple. All I did was plug it in and press play. The rest was simple. And set the tempo on the master and the other one would follow, just like a pocket operator. I love how it's easy to do things like this and set up the gear so you don't have to spend time going through menus and stuff like that, and it's just easy to create. It's easy to create in the fact that there's not much menu diving, and once you've recorded let's say a small sequence, it could be even a 1 bar, a 4 bar or 8 bar sequence, and all of your 4 tracks within the KO or within the MIDI Evil are available. So it gives you a total of 8 tracks, and it gives you a lot more polyphony. Also, let's say if you use the KO for your drums and then you use the MIDI Evil for your melody, once you do your live effects and everything, you can do a lot of real different flips that aren't available that are just different creatively. I just noticed when you do the live effects with the KO series, it was really cool. And I wish that I couldn't wait till they came out with another one of the series so that I could pair them, and that I could see how if I use the live effects on one, I could still have the integrity of my drums. Or if I'm putting the effect on my drums, I still have the integrity of the melody and it's not intermingling, and I still have those separate outs that I can EQ and do whatever I have to after I've recorded them in the TP-7. I can't wait till they come out with a third so my TP-7 can run all 3 at once. A great reminder is that these are inspired from the pocket operator series. If you really want to get an understanding of how these work on a basic level, I would really suggest getting 3 pocket operators. There's a lot of them. There's about 11. But if you just find 3 that you think would work with the way that you kind of make music, I feel like you would have a better understanding of the KO and the MIDI Evil and how they could work for you. And that's just a minimum investment of that's $300 for 3 different devices, or you can use 2 or just 1 to get your feet wet. But I always do recommend getting the KO. The KO is first because that series with the microphone is amazing. I also have a Speak, and I have the Factory, so I wanted to use that. But you can also do things like the Arcade, which I think was awesome. I used for a little while. It's a little more difficult to program, but once you get used to how a pocket operator works, it gets easy, if that makes sense. And yeah, check out the rest of the sound.